back with another AD show. Let me make sure. Another AD show. Okay, yeah. Audio's not horrible, so I can roll with that. Let me hear it. Let me listen to it one more time. It's gonna be a ton of echoes. So I can roll with that. Let me hear it. Let me listen to it one more time. Yeah, adios. I can roll with that. I'm happy with that. What's up, Delonte Tucker? What's up, DMG? I'm good, man. I'm finally in a bit of a wow, in a late. Let me just turn that light off over me. I feel like that's gonna cause a there. I feel like that was gonna cause just some weird glare or something. But yeah, so I really did enjoy doing this video yesterday. I really did, and then I may not be able to live stream tomorrow. But so it all kind of worked out. I may not be able to live stream tomorrow. I don't know. I really wanted to live stream tomorrow, but I don't know if I can, just from time, because I have the baby tomorrow most of the day by myself. So I don't know. But yeah, this is a great interview, right? Are you OB? I'm on Streamlabs. Rana, I'm back on Streamlabs. So I figured out I had the Streamlabs issue for about it was going. I say for a good year. It was constant issues, like bad issues with Streamlabs, and and it ended up being what ended up fixing my problem with it was the what's that like hanging off the bottom. It was I guess with my setup I just had too many sources open in the bottom, and after I just deleted all the any source that was just like there and not being used, just deleted like everything. Because looking back, I know where the issue started. It was the audio, because like every now and then like one of the audio tracks would just randomly just stop working for no fucking reason because it's Streamlabs. So I would add like just another audio track to try to like figure out which one was the one that worked. And, or then sometimes like the one before would just start working, so then I'd have this weird echo. It's like I was in a, like talking down a fucking hallways or some shit like that, right? So I ended up with like just extra sources, like sources of media that was coming from like cameras that just weren't on and shit like that. So like for whatever reason, like a camera might have froze, and I had like open up another source to put another camera there. So like all those extra sources, when I just went through and just deleted all of those, and then it worked. Now I can live stream games, great. Well, I compared to what it was like before, I could I've had much better. That's what fixed my issue, and I should probably post it somewhere in like some chat room on the internet, because if you look up issues with Streamlabs OBS, like it's really hard to figure out like what the problem is. Like there's people struggling with problems for years on there, and they got great setups, and they just can't figure it out. So I bet that somebody else is suffering from that same issue and doesn't know it. So I should really like just like try to like just create accounts like everywhere and say like, hey, if you got a problem with Streamlabs, this is what worked for me, kind of thing. Because my Streamlabs was never working like this well. I mean, I still have little stupid issues, like whenever I try to find this source for YouTube, it like for some reason it just automatically loads up as like the background. Like the Streamlabs now doesn't even, I don't know why it does that. Like it never did that before. Like they just keep fucking shit up that there's no reason to fuck up. Like I don't even know how you can fuck that up in any type of programming. Like for Streamlabs, I don't even know how you can even do that. But it does. They find a way. And paying for it was even worse. Paying for it, they just don't pay for Stream. I would never recommend you pay for Streamlabs. I could never recommend it. I just couldn't. But anyway, back to I'm on Streamlabs OBS. That's a long rant on that. So OBS. I never had an issue with regular OBS. OBS was always the better. That was always the best one for me. But that's what I would use to just like strictly record. That wasn't for like for like I used like just regular OBS to live stream like very early on, and people recommended Streamlabs OBS, and I was here ever since. What's up, Ivy Bolt? I'm skipping. Not a yada. AD. I got two female coworkers that stare at me in the office. Oh, I'm sorry. That stare at me in the off chance I glance and say I'm staring, looking over my shoulder now. Why do women play this game? Because they're just cowards, man. That's it. That's it. They're just cowards. They can't just walk over and say hello. Or maybe they. Like, here's the thing. But it's usually going to stem from being a coward either way. It could be a scenario where, let's say, like another dude or a couple other dudes in the office may like them, or wherever, not in the office, but wherever you are. I just accidentally read it as office, but like it could be a scenario like, let's say even in like the mall, like women, like this is what they do. Like they play games to get out of problems, right? So it could be like some creep dude or some like ex-boyfriend who's not letting them go, and it's like kind of stalking them. So instead of the woman going over there to to stop it, she would rather employ another man to come in to be the one to be like, okay, yo, stop staring at my girl type of thing, to get her out of that trouble. Right. So it can really be some anything. I wouldn't always necessarily take it as like she's just completely into you. She could be a little into you, but women definitely play those games of getting out of life problems. Right? Like they'll just they do shit like that. I would say out of every time a woman, a typical woman goes out her way to employ a man into her life kind of thing, it's usually a situation like that. Women don't just go off just naturally in the world and just talk to a dude just to talk to him. You know what I mean? That's very rare. It happens, but it's rare, right? Right? It's really rare. Dude. Women usually only do that usually to get out of a problem, and it's usually from some guy she doesn't want to fuck, right? And I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking about like the reasons why women like are usually afraid to walk around at night, but coincidentally like prostitutes don't have a problem with walking around at night, right? And I just gave like a little bit of thought when I woke up this morning, like, it's fucked up, but it's funny. Like, to me it's funny at least. Like, why women like most women that you're gonna come across are afraid to walk around at night when it gets dark out. Like it's just a thing women have. They don't like when men yell and scream. They don't like when men yell, and they don't like walking around at night. Doesn't matter what culture you're in. It's just a woman thing. Women just don't like that shit. Like they don't. That most women just do not like walking around, especially alone at night. They'll try to lie, and they always try to like pretend to play at being men, but they don't like it. And the conclusion I came to is because like everything, the only time society on a man or a woman level ever really care about a woman is if they can fuck her, right? Because like pretty much every other part of her life, like society usually doesn't care, right? From the man and from the woman's perspective, right? If you put in the tabloids, like, guess who Jennifer Lopez is fucking? Well, men and women care about that, right? But if you put in tabloids, oh, guess what? Jennifer Lopez is gonna go study mechanical engineering. Nobody gives a fuck, right? This is how it is, right? Now, women try to blame men for that, but women do the same shit, right? So with that being said, once a woman becomes a prostitute, that's that's like her way of pretty much ensuring her safety, right? Because the only reason most men are gonna like do anything to a woman is because they trying to fuck. The only reason that a woman stood out to him is because he wants to fuck her in any way, right? Right? The only reason is because he wants to fuck her, right? So when a woman is a prostitute, that is her way. That is literally her insurance of street walking at night, right? Because like the only thing she has to give is pussy and mouth, right? Everything else, she's a waste of goddamn time, right? So like with the women who are not prostitutes and walking around at night, see those women are trying to hold on to to the thing of value they have, which is their pussy and mouth, right? Whereas like the prostitutes, they're out there doing business. So it's like, look, they're going like, yes, I will give you pussy and mouth for a little bit of money. And I think that's their insurance as to why women prostitutes can go out there, whereas like women who ain't trying to do that, they can't do that. Like that is the connector. That is the correlation of it. Because I was watching clips of Requiem for a Dream this morning. I talked about that last night. And that's still great. Like I think I was watching just clips on YouTube. But I think it was great. Requiem for a Dream is great. But Jennifer Connelly, she was in there, and then she was the. Okay, so for anybody who hasn't watched Requiem for a Dream, I think there's at least two different storylines going on in it. Still think it's a great movie. And Jared Leto, Marlon Wayans are the two, and Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly is like not like a super big name. I think Marlon Wayans at the time, Marlon Wayans and Jared Leto. Well, Jared Leto wasn't really big at that time either. But anyway, those were like the three main. The three mains were Jennifer Connelly. She played the girlfriend. Jared Leto played the boyfriend, and Marlon Wayans played like the buddy. He was like the friend of them. And they all started getting hooked on drugs. They all ended up getting into drugs in one way or another, right? And and this is what I told my girl when she asked me about running hookers. Like drugs is gonna lead, especially if it's a drug that's gonna siphon money out of you. Drugs is gonna lead to you at some point. You're just gonna need money that you don't have. Right, especially if it's something like heroin, like you're just gonna need money that you don't have at some point, and when that point comes, men are gonna beat up, men are gonna rob and steal and beat up, men are gonna steal shit, and women are just gonna suck dick to survive. Like when push comes to shove, and as men and women, when we have to survive, men are gonna go out and physically get what they gonna physically take whatever they need. And women is just the better option woman's better option is just to shut the fuck up and start sucking dick to survive. Right? And Jennifer Connelly's character is a great example of that in the movie. Right? I told my girl that she got mad. Like she doesn't like to hear me talk like that. Like when I get too brutal, because maybe I don't say that, but she doesn't like to hear me talk about that. Like, but I told her like look, when things get real, when things get real, man is gonna go beat up and rob and steal, and you're just gonna suck dick for money, like because it's just the better option, right? Now, women can steal, but see, women don't steal in the same ways that men would steal, right? Because when a man will go out there and steal, like he'll risk getting into a fight, shit like that. Whereas women, they'll steal, but they're gonna steal in the safest way possible, right? And even then, stealing is not a viable option for women because women can't protect themselves very well. Case in point, the woman on the left, she flat out says it. Well, both of you women need to be protected in order for them to respect whatever. Women just can't protect themselves very well. So the best option for women when it comes to them starting to get poor is just to suck dick. Shut the fuck up, act like they got some sense, and start sucking cock, and her life will take care of itself. Right? And the reason that is always easiest for her is because, okay, one, she knows when she goes in that room, she gonna give the man whatever the man's gonna want, that she has a value, which is only gonna be her as a physical woman, right? So she knows at that point there's no reason for the guy to beat her up and shit like that. Now, even though there are some men who will still beat her up, but she knows generally speaking, there's no reason for the guy to get enraged or anything like that because she just, suck his dick till he comes. Now he's too tired to get mad type of shit, right? On top of that, there's a chance he might fall in love with her and protect her from somebody else. So like a prostitution is just a natural course of a woman's life. So when I say to be a woman is to be a prostitute, I don't say that to sound like, evil or anything like that, or sound like I'm talking down on a woman, like, in some type of form of degradation. It's just her natural process. It's just woman's natural process of life, right? Until you get to like the Western countries where women have been tricked into thinking that they actually run something, which they don't, but they think they do, right? Because that leads to more spending happening, which leads, and that just trickles down in economics like that. But when push comes to shove, her best option is to suck dick because because the alternative is to die, right? So which one would she rather choose? Suck dick or die or get fatally injured? She's gonna suck dick, right? It is what it is. And again, Jennifer Connelly's character in Requiem for a Dream is a great example of that because they need the money, and when shit got low, they knew the man who it was that black dude. He used to be pretty famous years ago. I don't know what happened to him. I hope he didn't die because I haven't heard. But she went off and sucked that. They found the black dude and he was and it was that white dude at the dinner table where she like imagined stabbing his hand at the dinner table because she had to suck dick for money. But it's real. Yeah, I would recommend anybody watch Requiem for a Dream because the other story that takes off that's going on is I think it's Jared Leto's mother. She wants to go on a game show. Like it takes place over the whole movie, right? And at the end of the movie, like everybody kind of falls apart, kind of thing. So Jared Leto's mother wants to go on a game show, right? And she's gained weight because she's older, you know. That's not necessarily an immediate correlation for all older women, but it happened with her. She ends up becoming just completely taken over by fitting into a red dress on the game show and being seen like in the crowd, right? Like not even like being a contestant on the game show, and like maybe she did dream that part, but the reality of her situation was she was going on a game show to sit in the crowd, right? But she was older, she was fucked up, and she was just so wrapped on the thought of wearing like some type of red dress and people would see her skinny, like the camera would like pan over to her in the crowd and she would just be skinny in this red dress and everybody could see her in it, right? And and so the movie from her storyline was she was willing to do anything to lose the weight, and she ends up getting hooked on drugs to lose the weight, and she ends up I'm pretty sure she ends up in an asylum because she just took pills and was fucked up. But it's like this slow decline kind of thing. But it was a really good movie. I'd recommend anybody watch Requiem for a Dream. But yeah, I had to switch from Streamlabs OBS due to Streamlabs disconnecting me every. Damn, Rana, it was disconnect. I never had that problem. I was lucky with that. You said Streamlabs disconnected you every 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah, I never had that issue. So I guess I was lucky in that regard. In this situation, I've never had that issue. My issue was things just randomly not working. But yeah, I can never recommend anybody pay for Streamlabs. It's shit. The only reason I stick with it because it was what I was like brought into, kind of thing. You know, in my live streaming time. So like I just know how to work it, and I don't feel like learning anything new with this right now. So I'm just been here. But yeah. Ivy Bolt says her pics of my body and oh wait, just like it came from. AD, your last take from your previous live stream was awesome. I'm currently having contact with a girl who's engaged, 5 years relationship, and she clearly wants to have sex with me since I've sent her pics of my body, and my only girlfriend was engaged as well when I met her. Guys, women are crazy and disgusting, so few have true morals, values, and principles. Oh yeah, Ivy Bolt, yeah. Women are far more disgusting than what they claim men to be. They're far worse. There's no and the reason why I'd say it's even worse is because women can easily go out there and get it, and then just play like, oh, she was a victim, she was abused, it wasn't her fault, it was the man tricked her into doing it, so it wasn't her fault. And society will always eat that shit up because it's that entitlement of woman always being seen as some innocent, delicate flower that can do no wrong. Or if she did do wrong, it was an evil man who tricked her. Because Ivy Bo, look, with this woman, let's say if her fiance or whoever catches her with you, all she got to do is just act like she's all hurt and scared and starts crying, and sooner or later somebody's gonna come in there and save her, and she knows it, right? And she'll just keep playing a role. She'll keep playing a role until some idiot's gonna fall for it, and they get away with it. It's beautiful. Like once you know what they do, what they can do and get away with, it's really beautiful. It's so interesting to just watch how women know exactly what the game is, right? And know they can still employ it, and know that there's a fool that's still gonna run around and chase them and fight for their, you know, fight for their attention just because they're a woman, right? The stories that's coming out about Will Smith, I think Tommy Davidson told a story about what, like, Will Smith was always kind of like that over Jada, right? Like, oh, he was always like, the stories that's coming out now. I can believe it. I don't think it's like complete, like just trying to get money off of, you know, public, off of like, you know, magazines and shit like that. I can believe it because of how he went up there and slapped Chris Rock. I can believe it. I can believe that he was like that. And like it was like the whole way of how he went up there and did it, right? Like I could believe it. But there's always a Will Smith. There's always gonna be a dude like that, and women know it. Both of these women know it. If you were to sit both of these women down and just ask them, and look, either they've done it, they're doing it now, or their girlfriends are doing it, right? Right. And it's always and a lot of times it's the ones you wouldn't even expect, right? Just got the notification. No, Neo, I've only been on 23 minutes. I have a timer at the top of Streamlabs OBS. What's up, No Drift? What's up, Elijah? Oliski, what's up, man? I do want to play games on live stream, but I let a friend of mine. He's going through a real bad divorce, and he really liked my PlayStation VR headset. So he asked if he can, you know, use it over the holidays because he's gonna be alone and he don't want to be alone. So I said, yeah, man, take it. So I had to give him the controller with the PlayStation, so I don't have a controller. And I kind of wanted to just do that too, just to like force myself to do something different. So it's kind of like self-inflicted because I could just buy another controller. I don't want to do that. Update on the situation. I told her she can be with me only if I can fuck other women. She is fighting hard, but I think she will surrender to my request. Non-negotiable. Word up. Yeah, with the girl who's with another guy at work, I think you said from last night. Yeah. Currently got 203. Nice. You got 200 subscribers. Nice, man. Yeah, Rana. Yeah, life just takes over, man. Like that's the hard part with this, with doing YouTube. Like life can just take over, or you know, anything can happen. Like you know, anything can happen with like YouTube, and then on top of that, YouTube has gotten. I think since COVID happened, YouTube like just kind of hit weird situations as far as like just the more time goes on, the more people are going to start doing it. So it just kind of like the market's like super duper flooded. And it's just tons of people out there that just has different takes. They're editing more, not editing more, being brutal, not being brutal. There's just so many people out there. Like YouTube is just crazy, man. ID, any advice on how to deal with passive aggressive men and women at work and life? I can't, Joseph. Honestly, thanks for tuning in, Joseph. I honestly can't answer that about work because I'm just so out of touch with the workforce and that mentality that I don't think I'm the best person to give you advice on that. Because I think from what I can remember about working a job, like there's a lot that goes into the social dynamics of that because you know you want to be when you work a job, you usually want to be a good worker. But then, you know, somebody's not gonna like you. This person's not gonna like that person. That person's not gonna like this person. And like honestly, I'm just so out of touch with that lifestyle. I just don't. I'm not the best person to ask that. Ask that to. I mean, I could try to assume, but it's gonna be purely an assumption. I'm not even gonna like pull your strings or bullshit you on that. Um. Um. Yeah, that's just, and then as in with the social dynamic, it was just how your charisma and swagger can be. Like it may not work how like mine could work, and I could even still fuck it up, right? So it's just like, because here's the thing, man. When I go out in the world, right, when I go out in the world, like I expect motherfuckers to not like me, right? I expect it. I expect people to just not. I expect to be the one who can go out there and and be genuinely happy with my life, right? Which sounds kind of like counter. It doesn't sound right, right? So when you go out there like in life, right, and it's like clear you are like happy with your life, like you're comfortable, you're happy with your life, right? So many people are not happy with their lives. There's a lot of people out there who are truly not happy with their lives because they just need the next bigger iPad or the next newest phone, or they want a bigger flat. They want their own flat. They don't like their car. They don't like how their nose look, their hair looks, whatever the fuck. But if you can get to that point where you are truly happy with your life, a motherfucker will not like you because you are happy with your life. That's what it will really be about, right? Right. And the fact that you can go out there and be comfortable and talk to people, some motherfuckers just won't like you because of that, right? Because they don't know how you can be like that, right? Right. So I'm already prepared for that shit. I already know out of every 10 people I'll walk up and speak to, at least 5 people won't even be ready to deal with me, right? Because at least 5 out of 10 people in real life, they're not even going to be ready to even understand that. And oh, okay, understand it and then come back with something so where we can like, be I already know. I already get like I get it. Like I know. Right. So like when you deal with these people who are like aggressive and all that shit, see a lot of times like something in their life is fucked up, dude. Like it's not you, it's them. A lot of times like they don't feel like they're good enough, or something happened like they boyfriend or girlfriend and left them, or they see the world like super fucked up or something. Like it's not you. That now I will say that is a lot of times it's not you, it's gonna be them. Like maybe they had a like an ex that they still waiting to come back, and they ain't heard from them in 6 months, and it's like slowly just turn them cold and bitter, or they don't have enough money and that's wearing them down. That they ain't slept well in 2 nights, and shit like it could be anything, man. But I will say that it's not you. It's not you. Yo, AD, Delonte Tucker says, Yo, AD, do you think it's a bad idea to try to get this girl's number while she's working at this breakfast spot I go to? This Ukrainian girl I'm interested in, I don't know if she likes black guys or has a boyfriend. Um, Personally, I would not do that. Unless she like. Now there was one girl I did do that to. This is before I met my kid's mom now. And I never seen the girl again. She was at this coffee shop down the street. And she was a cute short girl, cute girl. And I did mess around with her, right? But the only reason I even tried was because I usually wouldn't try it. I always advise against trying to talk to women at when they're at their job, right? Because if she's at that job and you go up there and approach her, well, one, she's getting approached. If she's a cute girl, she's getting approached by at least 7 men a day at minimum, right? She's getting stared at as they ask for her number, or something, right? So you're just gonna fall into that boat usually, right? Um, but then also like if she doesn't like you, right? And that now it's going to be awkward when you come back because if you hit on her, right, and if she doesn't like you, and then you come back, see now depending on how she felt, she might go try think she got to go hide in the back room, or she go somebody and she go to her colleague and be like, oh, guess what, it's that guy again, that type of shit. So it's like, so I would always advise against it. Now the only reason I did talk to this one girl is because um it was a kind of a complicated, that kind of a long story. I'm gonna make it short. All my stories are always fucking long though. But when I went in there this time, there's this dude who lives in my neighborhood. He has this beautiful dog. It's like it it looks like a small fox, like German Shepherd mixed with like a fox, but it's small. You can tell he's not gonna get big, but it has the build of like a fox mixed with like a German. I love that dog, man. I love this dog. And I never say that about dogs, but I love how his dog just looks like it just has like a really different kind of look to it. and he could speak English. So we used to hang out and talk outside whenever we see each other, like walking up and down the street. And we would talk. And so he shoots commercials. I think he's from a small village somewhere way outside of Prague, and some kind of way he got into making commercials, and he kind of and he made it, and he kind of got he made it. So he lives on my street, and he knows like everything about cameras. Oh, I don't know anything about cameras, but he can tell you anything about cameras. So we're not like cool, but we're cool, right? We always say hello to each other. Blah, 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 blah. So I went to the coffee shop, and a little cute girl was working back there, but I'm not talking to her. And so I see the guy in there, right? So I went over there to sit down with him, and we start talking and laughing, right? And that's always like the woman's way of knowing, like, do you pass the test? As if you're like social with other people, right? Like that's, and on top of that, I'm speaking English. So, and I'm speaking my American English, so that American accent's coming out type of thing. So, so she ends up coming over, and the guy had to leave. And she's working. So she comes over and sits down at the table, and we start talking, and she's showing me how she does rock climbing. She was into rock climbing. But she wasn't like super duper muscular though, because I don't like muscular women. And she still had like a nice, like that nice flabby, you can grab her body type of shit and squeeze it. She was skinny, but she had that nice, real nice body. But that was the only one I've ever messed around with in any recent time that at work. But it was just because of that scenario. Like I would never recommend you just see a bitch down a hallway at Starbucks and go hit on her type of thing. I would never recommend that. Right. I would only recommend it like in a scenario like mine, like if it just like naturally kind of progressed to that level, because she was like clearly into me at that point. Like she's like staring at me and like smiling, like grinning from ear to ear, like the entire time we're talking, kind of thing. And she was sitting down while she was supposed to be behind the register, right, talking to me. Joseph says, "Thanks, AD. I'm very fortunate to listen to your advice. Even though I'm old, I learn a lot from you." Word. I hope that says old. It's like this little heart emoji that's like blocking the lower right side of this. I hope that. Yeah, I think that says old. Yeah. Well, I'm old too, man. I'm 37. Maybe not as old as you, but I'm definitely feeling the age, right? I'm gonna start this video in a minute, but I'm definitely feeling the age, right? Because I was watching this something I think on Facebook or something like that, where they were doing it was Marine Corps guys trying to do the Chinese military test, right? And they had did like, well, I think one dude did like 84 push-ups and like some sit-ups, but they were like these big muscular guys, but they were like just had all terrible form, dude. I don't even think they were really Marines, because the way they were doing sit-ups and push-ups just didn't look good at all, right? So I told my girl, I was like, look, these dudes are they're a fucking joke. Like, I could do that right now, right? So let me tell you, I did 50 push-ups, right? And my arm, like here, I did 50 push-ups. Now, for the Marines or Army, maybe even the Navy, I don't know. But for the Marines and Army, 50 push-ups is low, right? Like that, and I felt so bad that I only did 50. I could only do 50 push-ups. That's the lowest amount of push-ups that I've gone out and tried to do at one time in a decade. No, long as I'm 37. It's 27, over a decade, right? And that was low. But you know what? I could feel my age, because I even notice it when I do pull-ups. When I go to the park with my son, and it'll be something I could do pull-ups on. I've noticed it with pull-ups too. Like as I've aged, it's like I can feel, like it feels like I have weights on me as I'm doing them, kind of thing. And I never felt that before when I was younger, right? And I'm pretty certain, like it's just, I'm pretty certain it's age, because like when I do push-ups, I can get to about 15 or 20 before I could start. It feels like there's weight on my shoulders, like it feels like there's like sand in my body or something, and like I could feel the extra weight, like doing push-ups kind of thing. And yeah, I'm pretty certain like this is what they mean, like when you start getting older, like you think you can do it, but you just can't do it. So I did fit, but to be fair, I haven't worked out in a long time, long time. But the last time I was working out was when I was doing that Ring Fit, and that was at least 6 months ago, I'd say. But even then, I used to be, I could usually always push out at least five one-handed push-ups. Now I could barely do two. I showed my girl like I could usually always pull out at least five one-handed push-ups with both arms, right? The last before this time, the last time I tried it, like I could do 10 one-handed push-ups with one arm. Now my left arm, I could only get to 7. And that was when I very first started to notice like something's going on. Because I could usually always do 10. Just at the drop of a hat. We would be out. If we would be out like at a bar, anything like that, I could usually always just bust out and do 10 just right there. Which is nothing, man. Because I had a friend of mine, I think he was doing like 20. He's skinnier than me. I'm a skinny dude. He's skinnier than me. I remember we were at a bar in Ohio, and we had a bet to see who could do the most one-handed push-ups, and I thought I was gonna win. I didn't win. This motherfucker went straight down and went. I was like, excuse me. I was supposed to win this motherfucker. He beat my ass. I said I'm good, but I'm not the best. But 50 push-ups for like just like the regular dude, like like just a regular average dude, 50 push-ups is not a small number. But for somebody who was like always had kind of a core in working out in some kind of way, like I felt bad. I felt so bad. I've been doing push-ups ever since. Because I felt so bad that I only did 50 push-ups. Like I told her I feel embarrassed. Like I genuinely felt like embarrassed that I could only do 50 push-ups. I don't think she doesn't get it because she's never been a working out type. My Kratos' mom has never been like a working out type of person, like any type of hardcore working out type of person. She's never done any. So to her, it was probably impressive to her, but I felt bad. I slowed down working out too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So as far as in shape, like I've always had a really good diet. So that's never the diet size never been my problem. I stopped overeating when I was younger. Like I caught myself because I lost my hair when I was 15. So like I remember because I lost my hair when I was 14, 15. And I always tell this story. As I had alopecia, so I had like it did see now it's like all just like a fucking like smooth color. It's like all one color, which is what really matters. Because like when I lost my hair, it was like black, like some of the hair was still there, kind of thing. Even if you shave it, it's just like colored. So girls thought that I had tattoos on my head and end up liking me, right? Like they like I remember what is beautiful girl. I used to work at Blue Chip Cookies in Cincinnati, Ohio, at Tri County Mall. Blue Chip Cookies. It was this cookie store where one cookie back in 2002 cost about it was $1.15 for one cookie back in 2002. So that was pretty expensive. I would say it's expensive now for one cookie, right? I remember this beautiful girl was like, she asked me about the tattoos on my head and like would not stop staring at me and would not leave me alone. And because she thought I tattooed my head, right? But I felt so down about myself about being bald, and I just thought I was the most ugliest thing on earth. Like I just tried to ignore her and get away from her, right? Because I thought I was, disgusting, right? But anyway, I lost my hair at 15, 14, 15. 15, 16. And so I remember how I learned how to grow in terms of like dressing. I was always kind of in tune with dressing, wearing collared shirts, shit like that. And trying to be clean back before it was cool to look clean. Like now looking clean is kind of cool, but back then it wasn't like anywhere near as cool in like 2002. It was more cool to like look like you were dirty almost kind of thing, right? Um, um, so I learned how to dress from websites like Ask Men, Made Men. GQ, I think is kind of more for like gay dudes. Like I'm not like bashing gay dudes, but I think it's kind of more for like the homosexual crowd because it's a little too flamboyant in some ways. So I learned how to dress from sites like that. So and then what I was able to put together just kind of like by like just analyzing the men kind of thing, like from the articles and what you can be bald, but you can't be fat. You can't be short, fat, and bald at the same time. You can, but you're gonna have to work a lot harder. right? So I learned back then to like just don't overeat and just maintain some diet that keeps some type of vegetables and or fruit in your body at least once a day. Now you're not gonna make it every day, but try to do that. Like as long as you keep that up, you'll keep your body, you know, in workable shape. Hit the gym, dude. Computer jobs always do that. Yeah. Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Yeah, so let me start this. I do 100 push-ups every day. Or like, yeah, I used to be on that shit, man. I just got, I just got lazy. But yeah, let me start this video. This is 8:06. So we're gonna start back off at would you date a bus driver? So here we go.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Okay.
Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I could build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver. So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us unhappy, keeps us angry, keeps us imbalance. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved. It's just not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong. It's obsolete. It's obsolete. We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do for himself. My son got his first job when he was 9. 9. Okay? Because you're a black man, you will know how to take care of yourself. But I think the way we measure it, it's just obsolete.
I think that's a factual analysis. For whatever we want, expect, we're told we were going to get, we got to look at the numbers and what's available on the marketplace. So you're certainly not wrong in the analysis. And Yana, let's tell the truth and shame the devil. We know what you got in that prenup would never be little. It'll never be small. Child, that's a big old mound of assets. But that's okay. Let's spend a little more time just so we're really clear in this conversation, Dr. Van Zandt, difference between masculine energy and feminine energy, because I know that is not necessarily gender assigned, right? This is bigger than that. This is bigger than genitalia, right?
Right. Absolutely. When we talk about man is mind, woman is heart. And so many of us is it knowing from a place of intuitive knowing, love. I'm not, and that's not the masculine way. The masculine way is justice, structure, power, is control. That's masculine. Feminine is dominion, not control. But most of us, many of us, I'm in recovery, are control freaks. So it's a whole nother way, a whole nother vibe. She raises her hand. There's a whole nother vibe that we can tap into, that we have to tap into, because the world is dying.
If anybody ever seen the movie Watchmen, right? I'm thinking of like the woman on the left is just completely reminding me of that woman in the movie Watchmen. You know, the woman who the comedian rapes and gets pregnant? I can't remember her name. Let me look it up. Let me see. Sally Jupiter. She plays Sally Jupiter in Watchmen. So let's pull this because we're at 1639. Let's do this. I'm gonna type 1639 so I could pick up where I left off at. 16. So this woman right here, Sally Jupiter in Watchmen, even though she was more feminine in terms of like how she, because I think that's just how the woman really is in real life. But she fits what the woman on the what Ebony from the previous video is like, right? The only reason Sally Jupiter had a daughter is because the comedian literally just raped her, right? That's the only reason why she even had a kid, right? Because outside of that, like no man could really do anything with her because she just became too fucking strong. She became too strong and too masculine to the point where no man could really fuck her or have a legitimate relationship with her for too long, right? And then what happens is Sally Jupiter ends up old and alone, right? So this is what happens to Sally Jupiter. This is Sally Jupiter's daughter. And this is how Sally Jupiter. She ends up alone in a big ass house and all this shit. She'll end up like Nicole Scherzinger. She's gonna end up like a Nicole Scherzinger. She's gonna end up Nicole Scherzinger, Sally Jupiter, and Ebony, whatever her name is from the video we watching now. They're gonna end up all the same way, right? The only if they even had a baby, it's because a man just beat her up and raped her type of shit, like the comedian does in Watchmen, right? If it wasn't for the comedian, Sally Jupiter would have never even had a child, right? Because she's too strong and independent, right? So in the movie Watchmen, she just ends up just old and alone, wearing she's an old ugly bitch with expensive shit on, right? That's where Nicole Scherzinger's headed, and that's where this woman's headed. 1639. But that's what I just keep thinking about the whole time. The whole time I look at her, I'm thinking of Sally Jupiter from Watchmen. The only way a man's gonna ever the only way she'll ever truly look, what's her name? Ebony. Somebody tell me. Here it is. Ebony K. The only way Ebony K. Williams will truly ever hit any kind of growth as a human woman, right? Outside of just looking what she can buy and what she can eat, right? The only way she's going to hit any other growth as a human outside of that is if somebody just becomes a comedian to her and just beats her up and makes her do it. Right. Outside of that, her whole what's her name? Ebony. Ebony is going these types of women, these Ebony types of women, if you really break down what she's really about in life, right? It's really a sad existence. Especially for a woman. Now, it's a sad existence overall, but as men, we just have harder times in a date. And it's always been like that, right? A man is just going to have a harder time in the dating market to get out of that existence. A man has to work at getting out of that existence. A woman just has to just accept to get out the existence, right? Like I said, you go to a bar or a club, all a woman has to do is just sit down and wait. And sooner or later, somebody's going to come up and try to go, and get her. Whereas a man cannot go out to a bar or club, just sit down and wait, and a woman just comes up and tries to get him. It doesn't work like that. A man has to work his way out. Women just have to accept a way out, right? A woman's hard. Yeah. So the big difference between the two is men have to work. Women have to accept, right? And it sounds easy. It sounds easy because it is for women, right? A woman just has to accept. If the woman on the left just decide, if the woman on the left could figure out how to accept, she wouldn't be in this position. She wouldn't be 40 years old trying to go talk to a woman who's 2 steps beneath her in the dating, 3 steps beneath her in the dating market and ask her for advice, right? She wouldn't be in this position at all, right? What's up, not a black man? What's up? What's up, Oliver Biscuit? Yeah, I just see this is Sally Jupiter shit, man. Like, and it's sad because she's a good-looking woman. That's the part that hurts. You know what hurts me being over here in Europe, man, is when I see like some beautiful bitch working at like a fruit smoothie stand, and when I see her, like, I just be wanting to tell her, like, yo, dude, like, you can go to America and clean up looking like how you look, right? And they don't know, like they just because they stuck in Czech Republic because they probably only speak Czech or something like that, right? You know how many times I see that shit? I be seeing these beautiful women over here. I'm like you ain't got to do this. Like you could find a man in America to take care of you. A man in America will find bitches like these, just a regular Czech woman, and do that and buy him a house, a car, and everything. She ain't got to do that, right? But she don't know. So you know, like a lot of Czech girls, they don't know, and they used to being like a Czech 7 instead of an American 10, so they can't see it, right? And it hurts because like all their beauty is essentially just gone to waste, right? In a different way. Now Ebony's beauty, her beauty has just gone to waste. Yeah, she's a beautiful girl, right? But what real development as a human? And this is brutal. It's gonna sound mean, but I mean, it probably is mean. But look, this is what I do for a living. What real growth has happened? What real intellectual growth has happened in women like Ebony's mind outside of how much does a man have so I can suck his dick? How much food can I eat? And what can I show off to other people that I got? Right? Right? What real intellectual growth has happened? Her growth has been stunted since she was 15. There has been there's been growth in working and probably finding a job, figuring out how to apply 10 pounds of makeup so you can't tell as much, you know, trying to figure out how to get her hair to be a little more. She's figured out, you know, these, but all that comes back around to how do I find a man who's better than me to fuck me? That's all there's no sense of true adulthood at all. And again, what makes it even more sad is that she didn't even have to work that hard to grow, right? That's the part that makes it even that's what makes her worse than a 40-year-old incel dude. In my opinion, she's worse. Right? Because an incel dude, he had a man, a 40-year-old man has to sit down, has to figure out how to get courage because he's going to be just as scared as the bitch going to be scared, right? Because he don't want to get rejected. A man's got to realize, look, what a woman's going to call the shots if she accepts me or not. You know, then the man's got to worry about, you know, is he looking good? Does he smell all right? All this shit like that. Well, what if this woman likes guys who smell? I don't know. So the guy's just completely lost, completely fucked up, right? So a man has so much, and on top of that, the man's going to be expected to pay for half the shit, if not all the shit, right? So like, see, a 40-year-old, I'll say this is a fucking fact. Any 40-year-old virgin man is more admirable than any beautiful 40-year-old woman. Period. Any incel man is more admirable on some level than any woman, right? Because she didn't have to do shit. All she had to do was sit there and wait to get fucked. That's all she had to do. And she couldn't figure that out. But you don't see it. You don't think about it. Why? Because she has a twinkle in her fucking eye, you wouldn't mind throat fucking her in 5 minutes. That's why. That's why you don't pay attention to it. There's no difference between her. Okay, here, let's do this. See, there's no difference. I don't know which dude to pick. There's no difference from the woman on the left. Okay, if you really think about it, all right. If you really think about what these men, let's go to the website. If you had to think about, okay, break down like the actual fucking reality, right? What these men had to work and do to go out in the world to succeed on any level versus what this woman had to do, right? If you really break down what they had to do, which one has the harder path to travel? Them or the woman on the left? The woman on the left is worse than these two men. She's worse, right? She's fucking worse. She had the easier route. Far easier route. Far easier route. It's no competition. But guess what? Both of them are essentially in the same position. Both of them are in the same position. They can't keep the opposite sex around, right? And both of them are mad because of it, right? They're in the same spot. She's literally the woman version of it. Feminist, strong, independent women are the female versions of incels, right? But again, it's hard to see it because when you look at her, you want to fuck her face, right? You don't want to fuck their face. So it's easy to look at them and be like, oh, get this trash out of here. But you'd be like, oh, I wouldn't mind coming all on her. I wouldn't mind pissing on her face. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it. But yeah, maybe she might be, maybe. But these motherfuckers, you can't do that with them. So it's like, oh, get the riffraff out of here. They're just bums. Get them out. Do you see her? It's like, oh yeah, well maybe I don't know. Let's hear her out. Because you want to fuck her face, dude. That's the only reason. That's the only difference between her and them. Is because you want to fuck her face. That's it. And the whole world will stand up and fight for this bitch because they want to fuck her face. And here's the thing. She knows it. She knows it. I'm not saying anything she doesn't already know. The thing is, she's hoping that you don't know it. She's hoping that you, as a man, you stay dumb and stupid and stay a fucking animal knuckle dragger that's not going to actually apply thought because you just want to fuck her face. That's why she put that makeup on. That's why she chose that color lipstick. That's why she chose that hairstyle. That's why she's wearing that color jacket with her shade of skin. That's exactly why she's doing all that. All right? She could pretend to be mad because all women at first they'll pretend to be mad because they hope that a guy like me I'll talk myself into going, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. They'll pretend to sit there and be mad, and some may even try to just run away. Most will try to run away. So here's the thing: in real life, when this happens, out of every 10 times this happens, I would say between five times to 8 times they'll just get mad because they know they're stuck and they know they don't have a real argument out of it. So they'll just get mad and try to run off or do anything to try to infer to the crowd that like I was the creep kind of thing. But there's just no way she can argue out of it. Or there's always going to be like 1 or 2 women that's going to go, yeah, he's really right. And those women will, like, out of every 10, I say 1 or 2 will accept it and fall in love with me. But I say 5 to 8 will always just get mad or run away. A few may try to argue it for a little while, but they soon find out that there's no way out of this kind of thing. Like, I mean, I'll admit if I was wrong, but there's just no way out of it. But yeah, let's continue.
That we have to tap into because the world is dying. This society, this system is coming down. And if we don't step into our power as women, we're going down with it. With the fall of the materialism and the collapse of the systems and the structures. We got to, how many women do you know with degrees could live outside and survive for 3 days on the earth?
Yeah.
How many do you know? I know I can. I know what to eat. I know where to find water. I'm not saying we got to go back to the rustic times of the Wild Wild West, but I'm saying being in contact and in touch with the earth in a way that empowers us.
Yeah.
Take the pants off. Take the pants off. Let your hoo-ha get some air.
A new definition to breathe again, huh, Yanla? Listen, it's funny you say that. I only can survive the wilderness, and I know for sure, and I actually was able to do it for about 12 days because I was on a CBS reality show called Beyond the Edge that challenged me, though. It challenged me to do those things in a way I'd never done before. Before you leave us, I need to ask you about how what you're saying for women to sit in there knowing be quiet for a minute, shut up and tune into our bodies, tune into our innate knowing, as I hear you say, but how that works alongside feminism. Because you've said you're not knocking feminism. You're not saying women cannot be police officers, firefighters, play football, or anything else. But you are saying that this hustle culture has given women a need to feel like we must be in competition with men. Is that
Feminism for me? Feminism for me is a political or a social construct. And a woman, empowerment as a woman is an internal experience that becomes an external expression. I can be solid in myself as a woman. I may not want to play football or carry a gun on my hip. I may not. But the distinction is I'm not looking to anything outside of myself for my power. Not. And I know that everything is coming to me to stretch, strengthen, grow me into my authentic and original being. And inside, I'm not guarded. I'm not harsh. I'm not brutal. I'm not violent. I'm not violent in my speaking. Women speaking today is so violent toward themselves and toward one another. So I'm not talking about a political construct, the women's movement.
Right.
I'm talking about the move of women for themselves, within themselves, so that they can be themselves in a completely different way.
It's internal. I hear you. One thing before you leave us, I have to ask one thing about dating. The reality is there are more men right now, Ayanla, on dating apps and seeking partnership than there even are women, contrary to popular belief. And a lot of men say that they're struggling, probably because of what you named earlier, probably because the expectations of many of the women.
Okay, I don't think that was all. It was always like that. There was men are always far more desperate for a woman than a woman's desperate for a man. That's not anything new. How old is this woman? Well, she's 40. Well, and then she's a woman. She just doesn't. Most women, you just can't rely on them to state any type of in-depth fact, right? Like, I think there was one video I did a while back where a woman was talking about, like, how come like Ford F-150s are like, it was something about the car. They didn't do crash testing for like Ford F-150s. Well, that's because women only make up like 3% of sales of Ford F-150s. That's why in the driver's seat, they don't do crash testing. Or Ford 350, it was some type of pickup truck. But the feminist woman, she tried to like come up with that argument. And it's just like women, it's just, you can't rely on women to state any type of in-depth logical fact in an argument. You just can't rely on it.
Men are out of sync with what society is offering at this point in time, blah, 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 blah. How do women adjust our energy so that we are more successful when it comes to dating?
Don't be like you. Don't be like you. Just everything you are. Just, I tell you, Ebony, this is what you do. If you want to help women to not to change their energy, just put your journal since the age of 15 on the internet, and what's her name? Call it the Ebony K. Williams Manifesto. Right? Like Elliot Rodgers did that shit, and that motherfuckers know, yeah, I don't want to be like that motherfucker. You do the same shit. You post your fucking journals since you were the age of 12, so we can all see where you fucked up. Be like, yeah, yep, figure it out. Case closed. Don't be like this bitch. You are and that will help women. And make that a fucking make it a course in college called the Ebony K. Williams Don't Be Like Me course, and that'll fix women in the nick of time, because they're gonna be like 20 at that point. So like right when they becoming at the age to become a stiff, stubborn cunt, they can take that course and be like, yep, I'm fixed. Don't be like that shit. It's horrible. It's always raised like women who end up 40 always go, well, what do I do to fix it? Don't be like you. It's not. How did you like? What do I do? How do I fix my life? Well, the first thing you do is sit back and think, well, maybe I'm the problem. If my life keeps ending up like this, I'm 40, and on top, okay, is even worse because she looks like that. Now, had she looked, worse, you could spin it off on something else. But she looks the way she looks. She's a good-looking woman, right? She's a good-looking woman, and she still can't get it right. So the whole question of how do we train women? This woman is the poster child of what to not follow on a mental level. Something went wrong in this shit. This is the poster child of it. You can't get that much worse off than this. You can't get. I want to see what she looks like on the Breakfast Club from like a different angle because she looks a little cute here. Yeah. Hold on, let's do this. Let's look real quick. I want to see her at a different angle. Yeah, she won them Nicole Scherzingers. It's over. She won them Nicole Scherzingers. She knows she cute. Yeah. Yeah. How do you fix women? Just tell them don't be like you.
Because the expectations of men apps and seeking partnership, then there even are women, contrary to popular belief, and a lot of men say that they're struggling, probably because of what you named earlier, probably because the expectations of many of the women are out of sync with what society is offering at this point in time, blah, 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 blah. How do women adjust our energy so that we are more successful when it comes to dating?
Yeah, don't be like you.
If we're looking to date.
Do we just want to date or do we want to be partnered? That's one thing.
Well, yeah, and see, that little explanation right there pretty much exposed all of what's her name, Ebony's situation. That part right there explained all. Well, what do you want to date or do you want to be partners? Ebony never really made it to be a partner. that explained. That was a cold red pill truth that probably went over the head of a lot of people right there. She never graduated to becoming a partner. Not being like how she is.
Do we just want to date or do we want to be partnered? That's one thing. If you have in your consciousness you want to date, you can date forever because you're going to find something wrong with everybody. But if you want to be partnered, my question is, what is your vision? What is it that you see for yourself, within yourself, about being in partnership? And are you willing to be in partnership as a woman, or do you want to be a dude having a relationship with a man? And when I say a dude, I mean how you manage yourself, how you talk to men. We got to stop talking to these men like they're boys. Even if he is driving the bus and he don't own it, or picking up trash, even if he did 7.5 to 15, that doesn't give us a right to use this divine instrument called a throat and a voice to demean somebody. But you know what? If we demean each other, we're going to demean our men. And we have to remember as women that while we, you put a woman, she's got to feed the babies. So she's going to do what has to be done. We have a level of tenacity that many men haven't experienced, particularly men of color, because their genetic memory is that if they're too much, if they're too grown, if they're too big, if they're too smart, they're going to get hung. That's a genetic memory. Yeah. So we have to understand that who they are as men, I don't want to say is fragile or delicate, but it's more sensitive to our mouth. And our mouths are just... Our mouths are out of order. I'm sorry, with each other, but definitely with men. And I'm raising my hand. The only reason I can speak this is because I've lived it. And I knew how my life changed when I shifted from external masculine aggression to an internal knowing where I get my guidance and my direction. It's just different. And most women think it won't work in the world. But look at me. And there are hundreds of me. I'm not alone.
Yeah. Indeed. Young Levanzant, just eye-opening. When I hear you talk and I hear the themes and even the tone, it's very Maya Angelou. to me. It's very. It is very. Which is I intended to be the high compliment that I believe you received it. And
No, that was a
none of us
roast.
are being.
That was, she just roasted her right there. See, that was woman. Yeah, she just roasted her right there. I called it. I called it. Other women, okay, in American women, they called it too. That was a roast. That she came back at her with the whole do you want to date or do you want to be a partner? And she took that and Ebony took that as offensive. And that whole you sound Maya Angelou, that was a roast to call her ugly. That was a roast. She just called her ugly. That women called that. The men probably didn't catch it, but I called it. Me and my girl, we had this joke like last week, right? Because she had washed her face, and I looked at her. She would be mad at me for telling y'all this, but it was a joke. Like, it was thoroughly a joke, because I know how women take shit. She washed her face, and we stand in the kitchen. And I kissed her. I walked past her, and you know how you always slap your girl's ass and like, play with her butt or something while you walk past her or something. And I kissed her, and I said, I could tell you washed your face today, right? Like, that's like a backhanded compliment, right? Because the meaning like, oh, your face is finally clean. I could tell your face is finally clean. It's like a backhanded compliment. And she got it like immediately. But now what they just did, that was like probably a step deeper. What the fuck is with these balloons, man? I don't know why that shit keeps happening. That was a step deeper on the woman roast. Like, she roasted. She came back at her for that whole "do you want to date or do you want to be a partner" line. That's what that was.
Beyond growing and learning. So I deeply appreciate the exchange and the wisdom. Final words to leave us with today.
My sister women, my sister women, my sister women. Not how we are is not bad or wrong. What we've done is not bad or wrong. What we've been taught or learned wasn't bad or wrong. Let us just consider that there's a greater possibility and another way to be.
Up for consideration. I'll put it under advisement, Dr. Bonzon.
Thank you.
I'll put it under advisement.
And that's why she gonna be sitting in that same position 20 years from now. Look, at 40, at 30, okay, now at 30, I would say her responses would be about right. At 40, now she's just old and bitter. The one, Ebony, she's old and bitter now, but she looks cute, so she'll get away with it. She'll still get away with it. I say, when was this done? This was 6 months ago. She looks like that. When was this Breakfast Club shit done? This was done 2 years ago. But I think she can keep pounding on the makeup and putting the wigs on or getting extensions and shit to get her hair looking long. She can prolong it. She's prolonging it, but it's gonna eventually fall down. She's in the same boat as Nicole Scherzinger. She's too old to be walking around like this. I actually watched this performance yesterday, over the weekend, where she did this Disney Mulan. I watched it. She's just getting too old. It's not cute. It's not attractive. It's not sexy. Like, everybody in the room knows it. And she think that, well, as long as I just get my eyebrows on and my hair straightened, it's all still good. Like, she's just getting too old to be doing that. Like, it's not, there's nothing cute or attractive about it. You can still, you can prolong the aging factor, but like, you are still fucked up, right? And because there's a reason why no man is hanging around you for too long if you look that great, right? See, motherfucking princesses don't walk around and get married at 45, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason why princesses, the reason why they end up, because they get married when they're young, and they stay together. 45-year-old bitches don't marry kings like that. Not very often. It happened, but those are usually for legal reasons. It wasn't because the woman was just so fucking amazing. 45-year-old bitches married kings because they was trying to keep some money in the family or some shit like that. Right? Motherfuckers don't marry 45-year-old women because the 45-year-old woman is just so fucking great. It don't work like that. But motherfuckers marry, I would say 18-year-old women to about 35 is when men marry the woman just because she's just so fucking awesome, right? After that is purely for some external gain. Right? Right. In summary, we as women will never take responsibility for our mistakes and failures and continue to, what's it say, push these failures along. It's this fucking heart emoji. I don't know how you get rid of that. It's at the bottom of my screen. But hey, what's this? It's not even doing anything. Okay. I don't know what that is. But yeah. Let's read the comments. Somebody brought up read the comments. This conversation was so much deeper than being willing to date a bus driver. I'm glad I watched it. Oh, yeah, because I seen somewhere somebody like backlash for saying she wouldn't date a bus driver. Oh, and she's 100% serious. There wasn't a lie detected at all in that shit. As a lawyer and a woman, I love this interview. Be still and allow it. Yeah. Being still is extremely hard. Thank you both. I appreciate Liana's conversation, her boldness, her straightforwardness, such a great teacher and speaker. I'm glad I watched this conversation in totality. Dating or not dating a bus driver was not the intended message. Yeah, okay. Yet I'll elaborate on that. Dating or not dating a bus driver was not the intended message. Yet that's all people are focused on. Powerful and necessary message for some of the women in our community. And if it does not apply to you, keep it pushing. Okay. So dating the bus driver, can I highlight this? Why is it not highlighting? Yeah, here. Dating the bus driver actually cuts to the core of Ebony's real problem. Outside of looking at her and saying, "Oh, she has nice eyebrows. I want to fuck her face," right? Like, so you have to look past that to actual her where she is mentally. Who wrote this? LMB8 6 months ago. Not dating a bus driver is the core of her problem, right? That's why she's 40 years old, because she has a stank ass attitude. That's why she's 40 years old. See, there's a reason why awesome 40-year-old men don't want to touch her for too long. There's a reason why she's single. If Ebony was so fucking awesome, there should be men. There should be more awesome men lined up waiting to date her. Right? If Ebony is so amazing, if she's so great, if she's so awesome, then where are all these awesome men who are more than willing to take her off the streets of being lonely and having to ask women on the internet, how do I change my masculine energy? Right? By the time most women are in any way, shape, or form in social media like that, and if it's not for like they job because they like a news reporter or some shit like that, but if they on here like out here really talking like that, it's usually because don't no man want them, or she don't want that man that she's with. Women who are with somebody who okay, think back to this. Any woman who is with, let's say, like just a total asshole dude, right? Is she constantly going live on the internet and all that? I mean, that bad boy asshole, is she on TikTok all the time and all that posting and shit trying to get attention from everybody else? No. Them bitches don't even know how to, them bitches hardly even know how to work TikTok. Right? Women with kids, women who actually developed and grew to understand some form of sacrifice. Do you think they are they actively doing that? Right? How many women are actively doing it after they've truly developed? You have some who for whatever reason maybe they took to it. But most women ain't. No, they're not doing that. The core of this woman's problem is her attitude and how she treats people who she thinks are lesser than her. That's the core of her problem. She's not Melania Trump. Now, Melania Trump pulled that shit. And Melania, see, it's bitches like Melania Trump that got bitches like Ebony confused. Ebony, okay, here's the thing. Ebony to Melania Trump is like every black bitch in like the late 90s to Halle Berry wearing short hair. Right? Every black bitch thought she can get away with wearing short hair because I should see Halle Berry came out with this like in the Flintstones movie. So the older people remember that. The Flintstones movie. Let's do Flintstones. She was just perfection in this movie. That just wasn't even. This wasn't even fair. Let's do. Hang on. This shit was when she was in the Flintstones. Like that shit just wasn't even fair, dude. Like at the time, it just wasn't even that just was when you see her in that movie. Like it just wasn't even fair how good she looked. Now what happened was, and she still wore it like as you know as she got older, the short hairstyle. Now what happened was you had every black bitch thinking they can pull it off because Halle Berry did it. And every black bitch's head ain't built. Their head's not built like that. Let's just do okay. Let's do this. See, wait, let's try to find one that looks more. So I would say now most of these are good-looking women with short hair. So far. These are all, but y'all know what I'm talking, especially for those of you who grew up back in them years, like you know the ones I'm talking about. These are mostly like, I don't know why this filtered out to just like, okay, like I would say like this is kind of getting there to what I'm talking about, but but you had tons of black bitches thinking that they can do it just because Halle Berry did it, right? And that's what. Now, what's her name? Ebony is sitting around holding out thinking she gonna get lucky and pull a Melania and suck the right dick and you know what I mean and next thing you know she's the president's wife, she's the first lady type shit. She thinks she gonna pull a Melania Trump on this shit. and she gonna keep holding out till she gets there. I ain't no better. She remember when they talk about the bus driver, she turned her lips up real quick. She's talking about something. Let me zoom in on my face. oh shit, hang on. As soon as they mentioned bus driver, she was like, just start blinking with the big ass, phony, fake, ugly ass eyelashes. What the fuck is with those eyelashes, man? That shit's fucking gross. It looks fake eyelashes are like fake tits, man. Like once you had like they look good from the other side of the street, but when you get close up on that shit looks fucking gross, man. Like fake tits look good from when you standing across the street. But when you actually get a bitch with fake tits, like and you get close now some do just get good jobs, but most of the time when you get with a bitch who has like fake tits, like that shit looks good in porn. Like I don't think I've been with one who had a fake ass, but like that shit looks good in porn. But when you get up on it, like you can see where it's not right. Like you can really like either it doesn't feel right, it's not moving right, or like something sagging like just but what really does it for me with fake tits is like when they lean back and you can see the scars under it. You'll be able to see the scars a lot of times because in order to get it where it doesn't have scars, they got to pay a lot more and they can't afford that. Most women can't afford that. But yeah, the fake lashes, man. That fake lashes shit, like that shit's fucking like it look like it's like fake tits. It looks fake lashes. drawn on eyebrows are like fake tits. They look good as long as the bitch is like at least 30 feet away from you type of shit. Or if they or you know if it's a dark evening, it'll look good like in the club or some shit like that where it's dark. But when you like get up on that shit, you got to like stand up on her type of shit. You're like, ugh. You're like, oof. Like it fake tits to me scream she's uncomfortable with herself and she's severely mentally ill, right? Like, and I'm not saying mentally ill in the sense like I think like anybody who has mental illness is disgusting, but in the context of woman being that desperate to appeal to a man, it's disgusting, right? I fucking hate that fake eyelash shit, man. I fucking hate that. I could barely stand fake nails, and my girl, she doesn't wear any of that shit, right? I could barely stand fake nails. I can stand it. I don't like it, but I can stand it. But the fake eyelashes, the drawn see that see the drawn on eyebrows, that shit looks good as long as it's like either filtered through like YouTube compression or it's like you're seeing it on like a screen or they're like 20 feet away. Like it looks good. But when you get close up on that shit and you can see it's drawn, like that shit just immediately is a turn off. It doesn't. I mean, it could be kind of a turn on because like it's just kind of like the artwork and the curves that fit her body with it with that. It's just like the overall artwork of what it's supposed to be. Like that part is attractive, but when you like are really there, like, and you just think about it on like a human level, it's fucking gross, dude. Like, here's the thing. Again, it's just as gross. Let's do uh glue. No, let's do this. Glued on wigs. This shit. So y'all seen this shit, right? Like these motherfuckers are gluing on hair to the top of their goddamn head, right? Like, right? And see, it's so much. It's always easier. It's always easier to see patheticness in men than it is in women. Like it's always easier to see men as pathetic versus seeing women as pathetic. And the only reason that is because everybody wants to fuck women, right? That's the only thing getting them by is because everybody wants to fuck a woman. So the fact that woman is fuckable, people can overlook like every other category in life where they're massively behind, right? So like a dude doing this would get roasted. If a motherfucker found out he was doing that, motherfuckers be like a small party be like, oh man, don't do that. Like be honest. Like if your homeboy or something like if you found like okay, let's say like if you seen me like this time next year after I done said I got alopecia, blah, 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 and then you found out, and then you see me like, I mean, like on a news channel or something, and now I got a, you know what I mean, I got a bald fade, like you already know, like that's not his hair because he got alopecia. He always had that, right? Like, and a small part of you, I guarantee you, a small part of you is gonna go, oh, oh, you gonna get that, oh. Now, why don't you do that with her eyebrows? Right? Because them ain't her eyebrows. I guarantee it. Those aren't, but you don't do that with her eyebrows, right? You don't care about her wearing a wig. That's probably not a wig, but that video, she was definitely wearing a wig. It was that Breakfast Club shit. It definitely looks like a wig, this shit. But you don't do that for women, right? You don't judge a woman on that. Why is this taking so slow to load? Am I still live?
Wake that ass up early in the morning.
Oh, shit. So y'all seen this shit, right? Like these motherfuckers are... Am I still on? It's like it's skipping frames. 20, Jesus Christ, 2 minutes ago. I started skipping a while back. Am I still alive? It's easier to see men as pathetic versus seeing women as pathetic. So it seems like the voice is still on. Jesus Christ, it's lagging real bad. So the fact that It's just a podcast now. Shit, I got the notifications. Yeah, I'm lagging like crazy. Jesus Christ. Because the video is just not even playing. I can see the video on my end, but it's just like frozen and I'm talking. So yeah, I'm gonna just stop it right here because I don't think it's gonna come back. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna come back. Okay, it's like coming back in slideshows. I don't know what happened. Let's see, will it even out? Ah, shit. Yeah, I can't even. So I can't keep going because I was gonna show you a video, and it's frozen on me with my hand on my head right now. It's not moving. Jesus fucking Christ. Yes, I'm gonna end it right here, man. This is a good spot to end anyway because it's going on 9, and I was gonna end at 9 anyway. So yeah, man, I'm out. If you can still hear me, thank you for tuning in, liking, subscribing, commenting, and I'll catch y'all. I'm gonna try to live stream tomorrow, but I got the baby tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll be able to live stream tomorrow or not. But it's just completely frozen. I can see it on my end, but I can still hear it. Yeah, it's fucked up. Now I got skip frames 100% over the last 2 minutes. So it looks like, is it maybe coming back? Because now it's like just me staring to the side. Was getting just sound for a bit, lagging back. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off, man. I'm just gonna get out of here. So yeah, I'll try to live stream tomorrow night if I can because I have the baby. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but we'll figure it out. So I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace out.